Hello. Today we're going to be looking at a concept that has been delivered to our Year 11 students. It's a way of helping them to use their time effectively to meet their desired goals. I'm going to be using an idea that was devised by a man called Stephen Covey. He's the author of a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. His idea of how people use their time is an idea for life, not necessarily just for school. And his concept has been used the world over in businesses, organisations and corporations. But we're going to apply it to a senior student and how they will use it at school in order for them to meet their desired goals.
1, 2.
We want everyone to meet our goals. Those goals that are within our graphs. And Covey suggests that we spend our time in one of these 4 quadrants that you can see on the screen. How much time you spend in each quadrant is totally up to the individual.
1, 2, 2, 2.
But highly effective people know how to best utilise their time to meet their desired goals. The first quadrant we'll look at is this southeastern quadrant. This is the quadrant that Covey suggests people who, when you spend your time in this quadrant, you're looking at things that are not important and not urgent. Those
1,
things
2, 2, 2. 1, 2.
Those things that don't do anything to help us achieve our desired goals, but can sometimes be used effectively when we need to wind down. The next quadrant he says that we work in are at things that are not important but appear urgent. These things disguise themselves as important, but they really just help us to procrastinate and not go meeting our desired goals. The northwestern quadrant is where we spend most of our time. The majority of us are in here because day to day we need to do things that are important and urgent for us to get wherever we need to go, for us to finish our homework, to get us ready for class. But these are the things that make us stress. Covey suggests that we should be spending our time in the northeastern quadrant here on things that are important but not urgent. Doing things that are in this stage that are very important for us to meet our desired goals, but we don't stress out. This is where we have a vision. This is where we create our plan. This is where we are organised. We develop our strategies. We set our targets and see how we're going to meet our desired goals. An example of time in each of the quadrants I'll show to you now. In this southeastern quadrant of things that are not important and not urgent are things like watching television, playing computer games, things that for some people it's Facebook, things that will allow us to sometimes wind down, and we should spend
1, 2,
some of
2,
our
2.
time in this quadrant. However, the more time that we spend in this quadrant, the less time we're spending in the others, which are more likely to help us achieve our goals. The southwestern quadrant of things that are urgent but not important don't help us
1,
meet
2,
our
2,
desired
2.
goals. As I said, these things help us to procrastinate, which isn't necessarily a good thing. These can come in the forms of text
1,
messages,
2, 2, 2.
alerts on our phone, emails that don't need an immediate response, but because they appear on our to-do list, we think that we need to do them straight away. As a teenager, we're often concerned if we don't reply to someone's text message very quickly, then that's going to have a negative effect on our relationship. However, responding to them straight away is not going to help us meet our desired goals. And sometimes we have to have a conversation with people and let them know that you're not going to respond straight away because you need to use your time more effectively. As I said, most of us spend our time in this urgent and important phase. This is when things need to be done. If I don't do my homework, then I'm going to get in trouble from the teacher and I'm going to fall behind. We can spend all of our time in this quadrant. It's the same as a tradesperson going to your house and forgetting to bring their drill. They've got the ability to do the job, but they haven't brought the tools with them. So then they have to rush back, try and get their equipment so that they can perform the job. It's the boost juice operator who gets an order for a particular type of juice but hasn't got a fruit cut up ready to put into the blender. We can do
1,
it,
2,
everything
2,
is
2.
there that is required, But because you haven't done the preparation for it beforehand, then we become stressed because we've got people waiting and they need to get their drink.
1 2 2 2. Testing 1 2.
Covey suggests that this is where we have balance in the northeastern quadrant, planning for success. This is where we do our homework early. When we get an assessment task, we plan straight away how we're going to divide our time over the next 2 weeks so we can be ready for it. When am I going to be writing my practice responses? When am I going to be seeing my teacher? When am I going to be checking with my parents? How am I going to make sure that it's not going to interrupt my training, that I can still go for my work shift and I'm not going to be stressing when it comes time to the exam or the assessments due, because I will have planned out my time effectively before that. We are going to listen now to an interview with a student who topped the state in the 2017 Advanced English HSC exam. Without knowing it, Hansika, who's from Cherrybrook High School, emits the characteristics of a highly effective person by how she answers the interviewer's questions. The interviewer is ABC's Patrick Aboud, and a huge thank you to Fiona Brewer, the producer of ABC Radio Sydney, for supplying this audio.
You're listening to Drive on ABC Radio.
The top students in New South Wales HSC subjects have been announced at a ceremony in Sydney today. And one of those very smart students is Hansika Muthukara from Cherrybrook Technology High. In fact, you were also school captain, is that right?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Firstly, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the show, Hansika.
Glad to be here.
How does it feel to be the top scorer in advanced English?
A little surreal, not gonna lie. I was really shocked when I got the phone call, but it feels good. It's a bit of a relief, actually, so.
Yeah, right. What was your first reaction when you got the score?
Oh,
Were you
couldn't
surprised?
believe it. Yeah, I was so surprised. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't sure if it was a dream, actually. It was just completely shocked, but relief and excitement settled in afterwards, and yeah.
And why did you choose to do advanced English?
Well, I decided to keep it at advanced instead of going to high. I just enjoy it. It's I've liked reading and English for a long time, and to be able to do it for the HSC, it was really good.
So run me through your year. I mean, it's a big build-up to this moment, right?
Definitely, yeah. You start off year 12, you're very nervous, and you don't ace it on the first go. Definitely, it's a learning process throughout the whole year. You get better as the year goes on. So, initially I was nervous, scared for the whole year. But as you settle into year 12, you sort of get used to the lifestyle, what it's like being a HSC student. You start to get nervous for the HSC itself, the actual exams. But
that's interesting. You said the lifestyle of a HSC student.
Yeah.
That's a
I
thing.
think,
What is the lifestyle of a HSC student?
I think it's just, doing the HSC is very different to doing, year 11, year 10. You sort of have a lot of other things to consider. You got to consider that you're doing your internal HSC exams, ones at your school. Then you also have to remember you've got externals to prepare for, the ones that the whole state does. So you sort of learn how to balance your time, both with activities that you do outside of school, but also between subjects, what subjects that you may have to put a little bit more effort into because you're worse at those subjects, you want to bring them up, or it's hard not to just focus on the subjects you enjoy or the subjects you feel good at because you're going to do well in them. You got to sort of learn that if you're not good in a subject, you got to put effort into that and make sure that doesn't fall behind. So I think a HSC student has a unique lifestyle.
Is there much time for anything else other than study to be the top scorer?
Definitely. I think one of the main things about the HSC is that you don't need to sacrifice other things to do well in it. It's all about managing your time and allocating time because, everyone has time for stuff. It's just what you choose to prioritize. So you
clearly love English and, you chose to do advanced English for a reason. So did you put more effort into that subject in order to get the top score that you have?
Yeah, I think so. I think because I enjoyed it, it didn't feel like I was putting effort into it. It just felt like I was doing something I enjoyed. But I wasn't just, easygoing for me. I did have to put a lot of work into English to do well in it, and I'm glad I did. So.
And what other subjects did you study?
I did economics, legal studies, chemistry, and math.
So obviously you're waiting anxiously for the rest of your results.
Oh, so nervous.
What's going through your mind now? I can see you looking quite nervous.
Yeah, it's after a whole year of work, it sort of builds up to this moment, all your year 12. So I'm nervous for the next 2 days, getting your marks and then getting the HR, but hearing this good news is sort of a bit of a relief before it, so at least I know English went well.
Hopefully the good news will keep rolling, hey?
Hopefully, yeah.
And, do you plan your study process throughout the year in order to hit a certain mark? Because obviously, getting the top score is a massive achievement.
Oh, thank you, yeah. I do plan my study quite a lot just because I'm the type of person who doesn't like doing things last minute and just sort of out of the blue. I find that when I plan my study and know what I have to do, it just flows a lot easier for me and I don't miss out anything important.
Do you think that's what it takes to get the top score?
I think it differs on different people, because I know some of my friends, they'd rather just come home at the end of the day and focus on what they think needs to be done. But I know I like to plan ahead what I want to do. So I don't think there's, one recipe for success. It's more playing on your strengths and doing what will get you to the top. So
now, you were the school captain at Cherrybrook High School.
Yeah, one of them.
Congratulations on that as well.
Thank you.
Did friends come to you to confide in you about the struggles they were having during the HSC and the sort of pressure that might come from, having to get a certain result?
Yeah, they did. So I think the good thing is, even though I was school captain, that didn't mean I was the only person people came to. Our grade was really close. We always talked to each other about how to deal with any type of pressure that we were having and things like that. So we had frequent discussions on, this exam's coming up, how are you balancing your time, and things like that. So, yeah, people did come up to me, but I went up to just as many people, really.
Did you have moments where you perhaps thought to yourself, this is just too hard? It's too hard?
At times, I think it's more when you're in the moment of it all, it seems like there's so much to do and so much to get through, but then when you get through it, you realize, that wasn't as bad as I thought. If I did that, I can do the next thing, and you just sort of keep going. So I think when it's happening, you think it's, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. But when you look back, you realize that, I think I handled it okay and it went all right.
I guess in all aspects of life, being a high achiever, that comes with a lot of pressure. Do you feel that pressure, or did you feel that pressure throughout the year?
I suppose in a way, it was more. Yeah, I think you do feel pressure, but I think it's more because it's important to you and you want to do well. So I think I sometimes put that pressure on myself.
Self-inflicted.
So in some ways, because I thought that I knew that I wanted to do well. And so to be able to do that, I find I work well under pressure. So I told myself, look, you have to do this. You got to get your study going and things like that. So.
And was there pressure from other places? I know my parents, for example, put a lot of pressure on me. I'm from a Palestinian Lebanese background. Right. There's a certain element of, my parents were migrants and they came to Australia to make a better life for me. So there was a huge amount of pressure that I did well at school, and it was just expected that I went to university.
Right.
You're from a Sri Lankan background.
Yeah,
did you experience anything like that?
To be honest, not really. I mean, we migrated to Australia as well. And so I felt that a lot of the pressure I got wasn't from my parents. They were both very supportive. They were very much, they knew that I would get where I wanted to go because I was going to push myself. So what their role was very supportive. They sort of said, if you do what you want to do, we'll be there to support you. If I came home with sort of a bad mark, they'd be there to tell me, you know what, it's okay, you're going to do well the next time. I would be the one sort of upset, like, oh no, I wish I did better. But they'd be there to tell me, oh, it's okay. It happens to everyone. You just need to pick yourself up and do better the next time. So I didn't really feel that pressure from my parents or any of my relatives. It was more me wanting to impress them and do well for them because I want to be able to give back to them what they gave to me.
Being the top scorer in advanced English and clearly a high achiever, let's hope that the good results keep rolling and tomorrow you have more top scores. So what are you hoping to do next year? Once school's done and dusted and you no longer have to aim for that top score, it's the next achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
way out in the big world.
Oh my gosh, I'm a little nervous, uni is very different to high school, but...
So is university the aim?
Yes, I would like to go to university, I would. That's sort of the next step for me, just to see how I do there. And then, I feel like I can't really plan out my goals just because I don't know what the future is going to be like. So I'm looking forward to going and seeing what else is out there and that sort of thing.
What are the top 3 courses on your wish list
Oh,
at university?
probably something to do with law and economics. I was looking in that area, commerce, that sort of thing.
So 10 years' time, let's fast forward. How do
Oh.
you see Hansika's life in 10 years' time?
Oh my goodness.
The
10 years-
dream.
The dream. Ooh, not sure career-wise what I want to do yet, but I'd like to be well established, feel comfortable wherever I'm working, that sort of thing. Feel confident that I made the right decision. I don't want to go to 10 years and think, ooh, I should have done something differently. I want to get there and be like, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be. So.
Hansika, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
so
much for
much.
coming in, and all the best.
Thank you.
I hope
Thank you very much.
the top scores keep rolling in for you
Hopefully,
tomorrow.
we'll see.
And you've got a bright future ahead, clearly.
Thank you. Thank you very
Hansika
much.
Muthukata from Cherrybrook Technology High topped the state in advanced English. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
So there we can see that Hansika wasn't gifted first place in advanced English for the HSC. She's obviously worked incredibly smartly with her time in order for her to meet her desired goal and did a magnificent job at achieving it. We're going to continue to work on this as we use our time in our senior years for our HSC so that we can make sure that we're in that important but not urgent stage so it stops us from getting too stressed out as the difficult times arise.